So it is now my pleasure to tell you a little bit about the framework we are sitting here today. And first let me tell you a few words about myself. I'm an organic farmer in Austria, doing vegetables, fruit, and a lot of wine actually. And since 6 years I also serve at the board of Arche, which is the seed savers organization in Central Europe, and which also works a lot at the European level and international. 2 years ago, we started to be a partner of a European research project in Horizon 2020 called Diversifood. And Diversifood is a project which strives to embed crop diversity and networking for local high quality food systems. So what does that mean? Well, it's a new research project. You're all aware of Horizon 2020, especially you're preparing a bit. And there is a history of Diversifood. So Solibam was the predecessor project, so most of the organizations involved in Diversifood already had a history of working together. That's why working together is quite smooth and quite effective. And the project is integrating existing networks, and it tries to strengthen the food culture. So the cultural aspect of food is very central to the project to achieve local high quality food systems. We're talking about food systems, not only about value chains. What are the objectives? We try to develop new biodiversity management models, which involves seed savers, which involves farmers who care about agricultural biodiversity, and of course also research institutions and so on. We try to develop new approaches to plant breeding and management, especially participatory plant breeding and plant breeding performed on farm and on cooperative farms. We're working with new crops, varieties and populations, meaning new in the context of the existing regions. So what is new for one region might be very old for another region, but for the region where it is new, it enhances the diversity of crops being grown. Diverse, healthy and tasty food products and market valorization. So this is one of the key aspects we try to talk about today. So how can we valorize agrobiodiversity? And of course, tools to connect activities and people, so dissemination activities. The consortium is spread quite a bit across Europe. Missing parts are only in the eastern part of Europe, so it's strong impact in the southern countries, but also central and Europe, and also with Oikos in Norway and Luke in Finland. There is also representatives of Scandinavian countries. In total it's 21 partners from 12 countries, so quite a challenge to manage. It's managed by INRA, the French Institute of Agriculture. And the consortium includes participants from basically the whole food chain, from education bodies, plant breeders, researchers, extension services, gene banks, seed networks, farmers, journalists, and we target policymakers and the civil society, the wider public. Well, this is not so interesting. As always, you have some structure of work packages and responsible people. I'll skip that, but this might be more interesting. So one of the work package deals primarily with testing of different crops and varieties of crops in different regions. So you see here so you see here we're dealing with einkorn, bread wheat, emmer wheat, maize, barley, and rivet wheat and durum wheat, but also with buckwheat, lupins, fava beans, and oats, and other minor cereals. And in the vegetable area, beans, carrots, onions, broccoli, tomato, chestnut as an example for a perennial crop, and false flax, I forgot. There's quite a bit of different crops, and they are tested in different regions. So also Cyprus, we have a partner from Cyprus, which is quite unusual because it's a small country agriculturally, and there is at the moment almost no organic agriculture in Cyprus, but they are trying to improve. So the tests are performed in a cooperative way. So protocols are developed which let the results of these trials to be compared at a European level. The common objective of the multi-actor concept, which is a precondition to be successful with all the Societal Challenges 2 projects, is that you really have a common objective which is embedded within the wider reality of the sector, which in that case is the food chain. And you see we have a lot of different stakeholders to be included and involved, and they all bring to the table their know-how, their methods, their knowledge, and the challenge, the task is to integrate all that, to define some protocols where you can exchange know-how, where you can work together to reach common goals. And of course, this global approach and research based on actions needs time and space to develop and to share. And well, it's definitely quite hard to define a common vocabulary. So to say, what do we mean when we talk about variety, or when we talk about biodiversity and things like that? But this is also a helpful experience, because it lets you reflect about the preconditions of the terms and of the concepts you use. For that, we have included into the project researchers from social sciences, which help us to reflect on what we mean when we say something. Okay, in the end, we want to broaden the diversity through participatory research and plant breeding, from gene banks till farming till consumers. This is specifically work package 2 and 3 in our context, which deals with that. And then we have work package 4, which is managing diversity in seed systems, where we talk about quality of seeds, links between the formal and the informal seed systems, networks and communities, and diversity management, and preparing recommendations for biodiversity management, and to make key policymakers aware of the potential. And this is also the framework where this workshop today takes place. The goal of today's workshop is to exchange views and experience, and to discuss together how we can bring more crop diversity to the fields first, but to the market second. How can we work together so that we valorize what is still existing, also diminishing, and make use of it in the terms of the sustainable use concept of biodiversity. Okay, and of course we have some dissemination and communication activities which you can find on our website, project website. And this was a photo taken during the first committee meeting in Pantan last year. So you see a lot of people all motivated very much to work together and achieve the common goals. So this was a short presentation about the project, and today's today's meeting is, and I thank all of you for your short introduction, and I already realized that we have a very good mixture and diversity of different people here, and as a farmer, I'm especially proud that so many farmers are here today, because it's important that researchers and officials hear the voice of the farmers more often and more loudly. So today is your chance to get heard, and I hope that you make use of it. Well, then let's start right into the program, and the first presentation will be by Mario Cascitaro. I hope this is rightly pronounced.